Okay. So, Hare Krishna. Welcome to our second Bhagavad Gita class. So, we covered till 1.40. हाँ, एक कुछ हिल कर दोनों left and right. So we covered till 1.40 till now. And so last time, what did we see? क्या हमने देखा last time? Any recap? This is fine. Arjun is at the fourth letter, not to five. Okay, before that, sorry. I don't know. This slide was not looking at the So we'll start with the lesson. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Namo Vishnu Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha Vitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pucharine Nirvisesa Sundivadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahavadanya Krishna Prema Pradayate Sri Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurarvise Namaha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jaganpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Sri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishnanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nancha Kalpitarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaurav Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Okay, so we'll still at chapter 1 with 2 more classes today, and next will be then we'll transition to chapter 2. Prabhu is happy. Next class, not today. Next class. Okay, so we are saying section 2 of the chapter 1, right? Arjuna's 5 reasons not to fight. So we covered compassion, that they are my parijan, they are my swajan, so I have compassion for them, right? Any devotee of the God naturally will have compassion. towards all the living beings. So they are but they are their own family. Right. Then we saw the enjoyment. Right. The second reason. That is like, what will I gain? Like when everyone is killed, right? There is no one to enjoy with. Then what's the use of fighting such war? Right. When I don't have anyone to enjoy with, the opulences or the kingdom. Then the fear of sinful reactions. Right. That they are my guru, they are my elders. And our Shastra says that killing guru and elder, that's a big sin. Right. Huge. It will have huge sinful reactions. Then we were at the fourth region, that is destruction of family traditions. So we covered 1.40 last time, right? Where he says that Arjuna says that okay, when irreligion is prominent in the family, oh Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vishnu, comes unwanted progeny. Right. So we discussed what is the value of chaste women in our Vedic culture. Right. How powerful the chastity of women were. Like brahmacharya is so powerful for men. Right. The chastity of women is no less powerful. So we're discussing how when a woman is chaste, the whole family actually becomes chaste. Right. Anyone who is deviating from the standard, they'll be brought back. We saw a lot of examples uh, about Sati Anusuya, right? Right? Nal Damayanti, uh, Sati Savitri, right? So we saw all the example. So the verse what we discussed, that why we are getting in this, like why Arjun is saying that unchaste women, then what will happen, right? Because the women follow men, the standard men put in the society they follow. If men in the society they are immoral, they are unscrupulous, women will follow the same thing, right? अगर घर में पति ठीक है वो उल्टे सीधे काम करता है तो he cannot control the women, right? It's very natural, right? And they'll be like तुम ऐसे करते हो, why shouldn't I, right? So women follow men, and when they are going out of they are deviated from the standard, from our prescribed method, the recommendations, women will also follow them. So it's not like it is all the whole thing is put on women only ki, okay, women only has to do. No, it starts with men, right? But what happens when a woman is unchaste, right? Then comes the unwanted progeny. So good human population we discussed is the population which follow the varnashram dharma. Right? We'll discuss that today also, varnashram dharma. But good human population which follow the varnashram dharma. Right? Where all the sanskar are follows. But when women is unchaste, the progeny will also be brought up with such kind of consciousness. Right? They will not have all the sanskar, they will not have the values. When elders are killed, in previous verses when he said, when elders are killed, there is no one to pass the jati dharma, kul dharma, which is nothing but varnashram dharma. Right? There is no one to pass that knowledge to younger generation. This knowledge is lost, and that is why when there is no knowledge, plus the home environment, the house environment is like that, the children will be uh, they will be like unwanted population. They will not follow any standard of our Shastra. Right? This is what we discussed last time. Right? And what are the sanskara? It starts not only after birth, it starts even before we are going to conceive. Right? So we discussed that in previous, like Vedic culture. It was like a conceiving a child nowadays, it's a taboo, like you cannot tell anyone, right? It was not like that. Everyone knew now that the people are going to have child, they are going to plan for it, right? So there is a proper sanskar which used to happen called garbhadan sanskar, right? Where because the reproduction of a child, the conceiving of child is an activity where you certainly will forget about God. You cannot attach yourself with God while uh, reproduction, right? While doing this activity. Right. But when you are going through that sanskar, Garbhadan sanskar, you will actually connect yourself with God. There's a big book, like I'll show maybe after the class. Like we had the big book of Garbhadan sanskar, Devki Mataji, she wrote the book. Right. So we have 16 pages sanskar, starting from Garbhadan sanskar. Then the third one, Pupsavanam sanskar. Then um, Simantam, right? Simantam Sanskar, then Jatakram, right? Sanskar, Namakarna, right? All those Sanskar Upanayana and all those comes up, right? So, no knowledge, women are unchanged, there are no Sanskar, people are brought, or the children are brought with such kind of consciousness, they are 100% going to cause nuisance in the society, right? The society will completely go into chaos. And that is what unwanted population, what we see today. We see that no one follows the Varnasam Dharma today, right? It's complete. It's more or less vanished, mostly vanished. Like 99% don't follow that. We don't even know what ashram we belong. Right? Who is Kshatriya? The politician supposed to be Kshatriya. Right? The politician is of a, nowadays politicians are businessmen. Right? Less of a Kshatriya, more of a businessman. Right? The Brahmin, they are tending more like a businessman, the one who are doing all those things, right? Or Kshatriya, they will have the Brahmin Sena to do Kshatriya. It's not like Brahmin cannot take up weapon, but yes, nowadays it's unwanted population, all mixed up, world Sankara. So in this one we came world Sankara. Then we discussed the topic of abortion, like how it is a big sin in our, how it is considered a biggest, one of the biggest sin in our Vedic culture, right? Because when a child is born, what we discuss, I'll just quickly recap that. The it has become normalized now because of organizations like WHO and all those people. Doctors suggest you go for that. It has become so normalized, and you, like last time we discussed the numbers, 1.5 crore per year. This is the number of abortions which are happening in India, right? This is 2015. 95% or more than that are just out of wedlock, if because of illegal relationship. Right. The society, how do you think it would be? When a mother, like we discussed that, a mother is willing to kill its own child in the womb. So we discussed how big is the sin because it is considered as sin as killing a Brahmin, as killing a person. Right. It is considered that big of a sin. Okay, so Arjuna was at this, like he was talking about the world Sankara, right, and how the population is now mixed up, how the sanskar is not properly propagated or given to the children, right? So all this point we discussed. So after that, Arjuna is now building his case more stronger. So we'll come to 1.41 today's. Right. So we'll repeat. Sankaro Narakayaiva Kulananam Kulasya Cha Patanti Pitaro Yesham लुप्तपिण्डोदक्रिया सङ्करो नरकायैव कुलन्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो येषां लुप्तपिण्डोदकक्रिया. Anyone from Prabhu's side? सङ्करो नरकायैव कुलन्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो येषां लुप्तपिण्डोदकक्रिया. Anyone from Mother's side? सङ्करो नरकायैव कुलन्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो येषां लुप्तपिण्डोदकक्रिया. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada people. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestor of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Right. So, building the case from the previous one. Previously, we discussed about unwanted population. Right. So, Arjun is now saying that unwanted population, when they come into the society, what will happen? Sankaro Narakayinga. Right. Sankaro, means mixed population, right? All the mixture. Narkaya Eva. What it will cause? Like a hellish society. It will make the society like hell, right? Like we see in the world nowadays. You go outside, the society is like hell. Everyone is like completely engaged into sense gratification. If you go on the road, there'll be few bikers doing all the stunt, causing nuisance, right? All those things. You can, a lot of like we generally follow the Western society. We think like Western society is so great and all those things. Think of like when people who actually went outside, they say that there are downtown, there are a lot of areas where you go after 8 o'clock and there's no possibility you will come back with your wallet in pocket, right? Or yourself. And we tend to follow them. In India also these things are happening a lot. So the society is already becoming more and more like Hellas. So what Arjuna you said at that time, this is actually happening now. Right. Why? Now why the society is becoming like this? Because no sanskar. Children do not have the sanskar. They do not have the value connecting to the previous one. No elders to take care of them. Right. When elders are killed, who is going to pass the knowledge? Who is going to discipline those children? Right. If mother is unchaste, who is going to bring them online if they are deviating from the standard? Right. So all those combining what it does, right? Unwanted population and these unwanted children, the tiny Hiranyakashipu, the tiny demon, they are flooding the world. We are all like a tiny Rakshas. Right. We all have kind, this kind of desire, this kind of bad habits, all those things in our heart, and we do it also. Right. So only because no proper consciousness. Right. We are not connecting with the God. So we have become more like an animal society rather than actually human society. What is human society? Which follows Varnashram system. Right. But animals, they don't have rules and regulations. Varnashram system has rules and regulations like what needs to be done, what time, right? All those things when it has to be done. Animals don't have any rules and regulations. Like आहार निद्रा भय मैथुनम च, that's what we are doing. खाते हैं, ठीक है, सोते हैं, डिफेंड करते हैं, मतलब डिफेंडिंग डज नॉट मीन हमेशा लड़ने के लिए जाना. इवन like taking care of family, which has to be done, but our only goal is like, okay, my family is safe. That's a defending, right? Doing all those things and then Mathuramcha, reproducing, getting more children into world. That's all we do, like animals do. Right. So that's how the society has become. So our Shastra says that chaste women, which they were like tremendous source of energy. Right. When the husband used to go off track, when the husband is the power of chaste women, again I'm repeating the previous points, the power of chaste women was so strong that there are lots of instances that when men or the husband, they are going off track, they are deviating from the standard, right? But they have been brought back. But think of a condition when husband is also like that and women is also like that. What would happen to the family? Who is going to control it? No one is. Right? There is no one to control, there is no one to give the discipline. Right? And everyone is doing whatever I want. Right? So that kind of situation we are in now. Same thing, what being done in the village. We are doing it now. Right. So also our Shastra says that, like not only she brings the family, all the family together, the women, right, the chaste women, but also the four purusarth, dharma, arth, kam, and moksha, right? Religiosity, arth means earning, right? Kam, our desires, right? And moksha, the liberation. This all actually follows when a family, not only chaste women, but the whole family is religious or pious, right? These things will follow automatically, right? So that's very important. That's a huge importance of the chaste women. But then what happened? Like nowadays, what we are saying, every generation is getting degraded slowly. In our like forefathers generation, right? Our Baba Dada, most of the people, 90% of the people used to be religious. ठीक है, घर में मंदिर होता था, everyone used to do puja and all those. See what is happening with our children. Even what is happening with us, forget about our children. Right? How many of us do daily puja? Right? We all know the truth. And these things are going down slowly. Our next generation is not even interested. क्या है ये भगवान हमारे? आप करो. I'm okay. ठीक है, मेरे लिए हैरी पॉटर की बुक दे दो और पर्सी जैक्सन और समथिंग. वही भगवान है मेरे. Those are the gods. Right? What should I do? Right? So every generation is getting degraded. So hellish society. That was the example. What is happening in the world? Gang war, right? Crimes against women, loot, robbery, right? Corruption, and doing all the road race stunts and all those things with young blood. These are things. These are very common things. There's nothing which is not happening which we are not aware about. It's not like a rare incident. You go to any office, corruption is rampant there, right? I don't have to tell anything against women, like crime against women here. Right? We all know. Open a paper, out of 10 news, 5 news will be like this. Right? This is our society right now. It has already become hellish society. Right? But now the point is, hellish society is not just at the time when we are alive. Right? We are thinking that it's a hellish society. जब मर जाएंगे तो खत्म हो जाएगा. No, it is also hellish after death. Right. So that why do we do the Shraddh? Why do we do the Pind-Daan? Right. So here Arjuna is saying here, look to Pindu the Kriya. Right. Pindu the Pind means the rice ball. Udak means the water. Look, ये लुप्त हो जाएंगे. Because the children do not know these things, they are not interested in doing all these things. Right. Who is going to give Shraddh? Who is going to do Pind-Daan for our ancestor? And when ancestors are not getting Pind-Daan, their life will be hellish, not only at here, even after that. Because the food and water is entirely stopped. So what exactly is Pind-Daan? And because it is stopped, Patanti Pitro Hesa, right? The ancestors, they will fall down. Now how they will fall down? So what is Pind-Daan? We all know the term, right? Shraddh, Pind-Daan. So what exactly it is? Anyone knows? Any views?
Offering the rice का बनता है.
Offering rice balls.
The parents, ancestors, 3 generations.
Correct. So offering rice balls and water to 3 generations. And why do we do that? Make our ancestors happy. How do you become happy? What is the ultimate happiness? From delivering them from the material world itself. That is the ultimate happiness. Forget about sinful reaction. When you are there, there is no reaction. There is only action. Happy actions. Right. So to deliver them from this material world. Because they so what happens? We'll discuss that in detail, like what all things happen. But yeah, you all are correct. We offer the rice balls and pit and udar, right? And water to ancestor so that they get the food. Right. And what is this food? This is nothing but a Vishnu Prasad. Right. Generally, where that happens, you know, where generally people go for Pind-Daan. Gaya. Right, Gaya. By the way, recently Gaya now is changed. Now it is called Gaya Ji. Yesterday only it happened. Yes. So very recently. So today is 6/7. So now it will be called Gaya Ji. So Bihar, the administration, they have decided to change the name. Right. So now why Gaya? Why not any other place? Why not Ujjain or Tirupati? No? Tirupati में भी होता मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि it has to happen at Gaya only. Why Gaya? Gaya is also pilgrimage probably. So I'll come to that. So Gaya has a Vishnu Path temple. Right. So, Vishnu Path. भगवान विष्णु के चरण वहां पे, एक विष्णु पाद टेम्पल. And one more significant, very important significance of Gaya is Bhagwan Ram, Yudhishthir, they all did their Pindadaan there. Right. When Dashrath Maharaj he passed away, right, Bhagwan Ram was in Vanvas. He was in Chitrakoot at that time. When he came to know the news, Bharat Maharaj, he came and he told. So he went to Gaya to do the Pindadaan. There is a river, what is its name? Falgu river is just like Falgu river, right? Falgu river, I think. So that is considered very auspicious, right? So there is a Vishnupad temple, and that's a major reason, like it is being done there, and also connecting to our history. Bhagwan Ram Yudhishthir, like after the war was over, Yudhishthir also Krishna suggested Yudhishthir to go there and do the Pindadaan, right? So he did there on suggestion, on recommendation of Krishna, right? Other places also it's been done, Varanasi, Allahabad, Haridwar also people do, but yeah, mostly the most significant places there, right? Now, Srila Prabhupada, what he writes in his purport. Right? According to rules and regulation of fruitive actions, there are there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. The offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reaction. Like very important, Vishnu Prasad. Why do like people a lot time ask, क्या आप हमेशा प्रसाद प्रसाद करते रहते हैं ठीक है हमेशा प्रसाद कैसे खा सकते हैं because it delivers. That is the most powerful thing, like one of the most powerful thing which can deliver us from this material world. Right? So our shastra, what it says that anything we eat and drink has to be Vishnu Prasad. Right? So maybe once we advance, right, when we can, or when we decide when we have the willpower, we should try to as much like eat only Vishnu Prasad as much as possible. Right? Because that that let out all the sinful reaction, that kills all the sinful reaction, right, and delivers us. So sometimes the forefather may be suffering from various types of sinful reaction, right? It's not like we only are the bad generation. Our forefather can also be of that category, right? Some of them. So there are lot of sinful activities. We'll discuss that. Right. First, we'll complete this. Then we'll discuss. Lot of sinful activities which makes them suffering even after death. Right. And sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in subtle body as ghosts. Right. So today's horror session, we discuss about ghosts. Right. So they don't get, or during the transition they don't get the body. At that time, they are suffering. I will discuss in detail what all things happen. So thus the remnant of prasadam food is offered to forefather by descendants. The forefather are released from ghostly or other kind of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefather in a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. Right. So now what happens at the time of death? We're discussing that hellish condition is also at it also happens after death. Right. So what happens at the time of death? Our gross body gets destroyed, right? And we remember from the device session, right? There are three types. Like in the body, there are three things, right? Gross body, which is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Khamana, Buddhire. Right. And then there is a subtle body, ego, mind, and intelligence. Right? And soul is like the subtle body covers the soul, and uh, the gross body that covers the subtle body. That's what you are saying in this screen also. So what happens at the time of death? The gross body, which is made of these five elements, Panchtattva, that becomes destroyed. Right? It is completely destroyed. But subtle body remains. Right? And that's why we carry our consciousness in the next life. बहुत बार ऐसा होता है ना कि उसको पुरानी चीजें याद है मतलब वेरी फ्यू रेयर एग्जांपल्स ऑफ लाइक दैट अगर केवल सोल ट्रैवल करता मे बी इट विल नॉट रिमेंबर right? But because subtle body carries, subtle body is the carrier which carries the soul from one body to another body. It's like a car जो आपको घर से ऑफिस ले जाती है. That is the subtle body, right? So it carries mind, ego, and intelligence. Ego here, ego means false ego, not our ahankar. The same thing, false ego, right? And mind and intelligence that carries the soul to other body. Now what happens? The soul is eternal, right? And our next life, next body which we are going to get is based on our karma and what? And last, what was our consciousness at the time of death? These two things decide what kind of body we are going to get next, right? So because our karma is there, so we'll have to any karma, like bad karma, good karma, we'll have to repay. Right. Even good karma we have to repay. Only a karma, we remember that. Karma, vikarma. Only a karma is something which will not have any result. But if there is a karma, good karma, vikarma, bad karma, we'll have to pay. If we are doing all the good activities, we'll have to come back to get the benefit of the good activities. आपने प्यासे को पानी पिलाया, ठीक है, आपने पर्यावरण के लिए बहुत काम किया, you did all those things. You'll have to come back to enjoy that environment or to have again glass of water from other person, right? The bad karma, anyway, we know we'll have to come back to get all the sinful reaction. Right. So, those sinful activities, there are certain sinful activities for which they have to, the ancestor or the person, the soul, right? They have to come back to the lower life or they can even go to the hellish planet. We remember the chart where there are 28 hellish planets, right? Below even Patal. So below Patal, there are two things. One, 28 hellish planet and also, not in the same category, but Pitrulok. Pitrulok also comes below Patal, right? So these things are even below Patal, right? So 7 above, 7 below, including 7 above, including Bhuvan, with Earth, right? 7 below, right? Including Patal, uh, where the Nag and the Nagalok and all those things. And then in 28 hills, which our Shastra says that, where different types of punishment will be put, right? And then Pitralok is also there. So a lot of time this lot of time. So because of their sinful activity, they will be going to the hellish planet. And why do the souls go to hellish planet? To get more sufferings. They have to repay, right? Well, they have to get suffering so that next time they might remember. Or they have to pay back. Right. So because they have to settle the account, so they will go to the hellish planet. But there are certain types of sins, like suicide. Right. There are certain types of sins which are so grave that they will not even get the next body immediately. Or they have to wait a lot of time to get the next body. And suicide is one that kind of. Now what will happen in that case? Right. They will be sent to again this hellish planet and they will suffer. But because they don't have this sort of gross body, that's that's the stage where we call these souls as ghosts. That is the thing which is called as ghost. Right. Now why ghost? Right. What is the problem? And being a ghost is actually more suffering. What we see in the movies and all, that they make others suffer, they do. Right. They do that. But even for them it is even more suffering. We don't suffer that much as ghosts suffer. Why? Anyone know? What could be the reason? The ghosts suffer. Attachment to the material world. No, desires are not completely done. Yes, you're right. But then what? Desire तो हमारी भी नहीं गई. Desire, we also have desires and attachment, but we don't suffer. Ghosts suffer even more. Why? Yes. Because we have desire that we have body also, which we can use to fulfill. Ghosts don't even have the body. Our desires can be fulfilled with our five senses, the sense organs, right? If I have desire to eat something very sweet, right, or pani puri, I have tongue to it. Think of a ghost who wants to eat pani puri. Right? माता जिसका मतलब नहीं next season में pani puri आएगा. But a ghost who wants to eat pani puri, how can he eat? So they are actually very frustrated. because they have all the desires and very strong desires, but they cannot get it fulfilled. हम तो कुछ तरीके से कुछ करके fulfill कर लेते हैं इधर उधर हाथ पैर मार के, but they cannot get it fulfilled. So desire after desire, like it gets accumulated and you are not able to do anything. Like think of a stage, a person think of कि कोई बंदा है उसका पैर टूट गया, उसको बहुत दौड़ने का मन है या उसको चल के जाना है, ठीक है, and then but his leg is broken. Like think how frustrated he would be. He cannot go anywhere. For even going to the bathroom, he needs some help. They become frustrated at that stage, right? A lot. Even though like he has help, ghosts they don't even have help also because they can't do. So they are very frustrated. So mostly ghosts are very frustrated, and because they are so frustrated, they give some suffering to the living being also. चलो तुम भी थोड़ा परेशान. There are very few ghosts which are actually good ghosts. Like Bhutnath. Anyone remember that movie? Bhutnath, Amitabh Bachchan only. Right. That ghosts are very extremely rare. That does not happen. Ghosts are generally very frustrated. So, at the time of death, that happens. Right. The subtle body carries the soul, and that soul goes to the next life. But if we don't have the subtle body, then what happens? And also, like when the soul is going to the next life, then what happens?
The most exactly negative energy contributes.
So, they are negative energy because right, think not only ghosts, even if you are with a person who has a lot of these desires or unwanted desires, not good desires, they themselves are negative people, right? We see the negative people, someone who fights a lot, someone who crips about everything, the day and night. ये ऐसा कर रहा है, वो वैसा कर रहा है, ठीक है, इसने तो ये कर दिया, इसने तो वो कर दिया. They themselves are negative people, right? The ghosts are many-fold of that person. So yes, they are negative energy, but they are not really energy, right? So that's where you have to put distinction. When we say energy, like electricity, they are not like electricity, right? They are body, the body which we cannot see or perceive with our eyes, right? They are having this subtle body. डर लगता है क्योंकि हमने ऐसा वो बना लिया है, राइट? इट हैज बिकम द नॉर्म, घोस्ट मतलब समवन जैसे ये फोटो दिखे, हाँ, राइट, दिस हैज बिकम अ नॉर्म, सो दैट्स व्हाई डर लगता है वो. इट इट हैज बीन प्रोपगेटेड लाइक दैट, एंड इट्स नॉट लाइक they don't create nuisance. It has been documented. Ghosts have created a lot of nuisance. They have created a lot of trouble for people, and those troubles are we hear in the ghost stories, and then we have made up our mind ghosts and stuff like that. When I was small, when I was young, मतलब maybe 7-8 years, ठीक है, मेरा भूत देखने का बहुत मन था. I was so much eager to see the ghost, right? So in the night when we used to go to sleep on the terrace, लाइट तो चली जाती थी गोरखपुर में, ठीक है, रात में 10 बजे जाती थी, आती थी 1-2 बजे, right? So there was no electricity. Then I used to go and sleep on the terrace. Not me, the whole family. I used to wake up till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. आज ghost दिख जाए, आज ghost दिखेगा. I waited for weeks, maybe months, I don't know, jab भी, anytime, right? And I did not see any ghost. I completely lost, क्या कहते हैं, belief. I completely lost. There is no ghost at all, right? So that also just some incident, right? So it is our mind. It's mostly our mind. How many of us have been actually troubled by ghost here? Ah, you have been. So I got one at least. One of my friend, also a college friend, he used to tell a story. I don't know how true it was, but he used to tell ghost stories how he was troubled by ghost. But yes, out of that many people only troubled. Huh? आप दोनों. अच्छा, मुझे लगा माता जी को कर रहा है, been troubled by माता जी and ghost. Thank God माता जी नहीं है वहाँ पे. हाँ, तो बट मतलब बहुत इतना कॉमन नहीं है. And प्रभु जी आपको बताएंगे why should you be afraid of ghost. He will share the incident. We'll take that incident during prasadam. Right. So the ghosts, they don't have gross body, but they have the subtle body and a lot of desires which they cannot fulfill. That's why they are frustrated, and they make us frustrated also sometimes. Right. Gives the suffering to us. Now, the reason why they came to material, why we all came to material, all the souls came to material, what is the reason? No, why we all came to material world? to enjoy separately from the God. Right. We wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna. We wanted to enjoy separately from the God. They're thinking, कि क्यों? Why Krishna will have all the fun? Why not me? So we all fall down. Okay, this is a material world for you. Right. Like एक बच्चे, one old kid is there. Right. See, child. फिर क्या बोलते हैं? हाँ ठीक है जो बच्ची ठीक है एक बेटी है घर पे ठीक सी वांट्स की आज मुझे खुद का खाना बनाना है तो मॉम विल गिव हर अ किचन सेट ओके यू प्रिपेयर फूड ठीक she gives her or when we were kid we used to make the small houses with bricks and all right this is my home right I am going to live in there we cannot even put a hand in that but yes we are going to live in there after a few hours after 1 hour we realize, okay, we cannot live in there. We go down, live with mom and dad only. Or we go down and then, Mummy bhook lagi hai, okay, give us some food. So that's what is happening with us. We have desire. Why Mummy only prepares food? Why Mummy will only? Why Papa Mummy only have their home? I will have my own home. Right. So we came down here. I will have all the enjoyment myself. Came down here. Okay, you do enjoyment. But then we realize at the end, that's not real enjoyment. Right? It has more suffering. We can't get anything with that particular doll house or with that particular kitchen set, we cannot fulfill our stomach, we cannot fulfill our living, right? So we have to go back. So that moment which seems millennium of lifetime for us, that is just a moment in spiritual world. But until then we suffer. Right. So the souls came down to fulfill their desires, to enjoy in this world. But if they are ghosts, they cannot do this. Right. They cannot fulfill their desire. So frustration. Right. No feelings.
There is go to hellish planets. So, actually, वो लोग क्यों आते हैं?
भूलोक में क्यों आते हैं? भूलोक is the junction. We discussed lot of time. Right. Bhulok is your junction. The upper planets, the higher planets is there when you do the pious karma, your good karma, right? You go there to get the benefit of that, do the enjoyment. Like like Indra and all are there. They have like thousands of years of lifetime. What we enjoy is like a momentarily enjoyment. They enjoy for a long time the same enjoyment. Like when we eat something very tasty. How many seconds? 2, 3, 4, maybe 10 seconds. That's all we enjoy, right? When they enjoy for years. The same thing. So for the good karma, you go to the higher planet to enjoy more. Right? For bad karma, you go to lower planet to get the suffering, to get more suffering. Like to enjoy less or to get the lower life, right? And having lesser enjoyment. But once you, so it is, think of it like a lottery. Now, you are having a lottery. You won a lottery of $1 million. No? Happy? No one is happy. Come on. मतलब $1 million मतलब अच्छा खासा होता है कई करोड़ 80 करोड़ 80 होगा 8 भी कम नहीं है प्रभु जी 2 एक विला आ जाएगा पीछे का ठीक ठीक तो आपने आपकी $1 million की you got one lottery right and then you are spending okay I will enjoy I bought this and that and at the end what happens this 8 crore gets over then what you come back right we are again at zero. This is like that. So our good karma is like the bank balance. Good karma, bad karma. Positive balance, negative balance. They don't negate each other. You have to repay for every good karma and bad karma. They don't negate each other. But then the bad karma, you have to go to lower planet to lower planet or here also, right? Even here also. It's not like always you have to go to lower planet. It depends. If we have done only bad karma, then only we'll go to lower planet. But when it is a mixed bag, then here and there, good and bad. You can all depends on our karma, right? It's very difficult to understand. We'll see in chapter 2, right? So they are sent to lower planet to repay or to settle the account of bad karma. They go to higher planet to enjoy more because of the good karma. But when their credit is over, when this karma bank balance is over, they again come back to the earth because the earth is the junction from where you can go to the spiritual world. That's why we come to earth. Right. So we are lucky. Probably we came from hell. or maybe half planet. We don't know, right? So this is the lifetime opportunity for us. नीचे जाना है, ऊपर जाना है, या सीधे जाना है. ठीक. सीढ़ी ऊपर भी जाती है, सीढ़ी नीचे भी जाती है. And then there is elevator, SpaceX, which will take us on outside the moon. So why Pind-Daan we discussed? Any question? So why Pind-Daan? Why do we do Pind-Daan? We discussed that. What was the answer? Two? अभी तो discuss किया. Offer the food to our ancestors so that they get liberated. The hellish condition they are in, because after life also they are in hell. So when they get Vishnu Prasad, right, that is a mercy of God. They come out of their hellish condition, right? That's why we do this Pind-Daan, right? The Shraddh ceremony. Now, how is offering Pind to liberate the ancestor? That also we discussed. Vishnu Prasad. A slok comes in Bhagavad Gita 3.13. यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तु मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल विषय मुच्यते ते तद्भव पाप ये पंचा आत्मीयत करना, right? The devotee of the Lord are released from all kind of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Right? Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sins. Very important. So, we'll discuss that time in detail. But yes, just to give you a glimpse. Right. That's what we discussed. Anything we eat and drink has to be prasad. That's what our Shastra says. It's not what I'm saying or what is God says, what Gaudiya Sampradaya is saying. No, that's what our Shastra says. That's what Lord Krishna is saying. Forget anything. Anything which is not prasad, if we eat, that means we are only and only accumulating sins. We only take sins, more and more sins. Right. And because we eat prasad, that liberates the ancestor. Us, and we offer the prasad for ancestor, it liberates them. Right. Who says that? Lord Krishna says that here. Right. Because Vishnu Prasad is so pure and so potent that it releases all the sins. And that's how it liberates. So prasad which is offered to Lord with a lot of love and devotion, that's what we should eat. Because that is also kind of yajna. Right? Yajna means वही नहीं होता है कि स्वाहा. Right? Prasadam eating, preaching, all these things are yajna. Everything which we do for the God, for the yajna का मतलब होता है for the pleasure of the Lord. That means that is the real meaning, the meaning of the yajna. For the pleasure of the Lord. Right? So anything which we do for the pleasure of the Lord. You are doing a drama, let's say, for Krishna, glorifying Krishna. That is also yajna. You are doing chanting, that is also yajna. Right? So eating prasadam, offering prasadam, and then eating it, that is also yajna. So come back to the questions. So that's how offering Pind to liberate these ancestors. Now, one important question though. So there was a scientist, there are a lot of times people say that. So there was a scientist who said that, how is it possible? I'm living on first floor, you are living on top floor, or let's say third floor. You are you are giving me food at the ground floor, and I'm getting the food. Either you have to come up to get the food, or I have to come down to get the food. So his point was, ancestors are not with you. They are either as a ghost or in some other body. How is it possible that you are offering food here? It is reaching to them. What do you think? How is it possible?
Even though it's slightly our body.
No, but that's a very different thing. It's like tit for tat. Right. But it's not necessary that ancestor is now doing it for you. They may, or your descendants, they may be doing it, but it's not a guarantee, right? Who knows what's going to happen next?
Actually, very
Ancestor? But they are in another body. आपने कभी देखा कोई बॉडी छोड़ के चला गया उसको खा के आते हैं? तो मतलब ऐसा जनरली होता नहीं. Right. Yes, we invite them, you are right. But I'll tell you what exactly happens here, right? So there are certain agents, there are certain representative of Lord Krishna, right? So when you say Devi Devata, the demigods, Like they have their own job. Like there is a devta for rain, there is a devta Surya Dev for light, there is a moon god. Right, all the Devi Devta, there is a god of thunder. I'm not talking about Thar, right? So there are all kind of Devi Devtas who have their own roles and responsibility to fulfill. Similarly, there are some Devtas who actually carries this prasadam, what is offered to your ancestor, and take them to ancestor, whatever they are, wherever they are. They may be in hellish, they may be in hell, they may be in another body, they may be ghost here itself, maybe in this room, right? So they will carry to them because that's their role. So all Devi Devata have their role to fulfill, their role to do. Right. So like when we say sun has a role to give us sunlight. It does not have like other roles apart from that. So they also have their very similar role. And they are specifically called Agni Devs. There are not just one Agni Dev. There are many Agni Devs. Right. So when you do Pindadan, you do like in front of Agni also. Right. So Agni Dev, they come, they carry this to your ancestor. And that's how it reaches to ancestor. And um, these are the portals which science is not really aware about. So, because we cannot imagine how that may happen, a lot of time there is a mistrust on these things like, how is it possible? But yes, we are not aware of 99% of the things. Science is not even 1% there, what is there in the world. Right? So, there are so many things which science is not aware, even incarnation, right? We all know it is true. There have been so many experiments. We have had our first device session was itself was about incarnation. Science does not have any proof of that, but we have the case study that incarnation is true. पुनर्जन्म होता है. We know that. But then, yes, if we think that we put our mind understand these subtle thing, this spiritual thing on the basis of science, you may not get the answer because science is not there yet. Right. But yeah, so that's how the food the reaches the food which we offer it reaches to different ancestors, their different places and their bodies. Right. Now, okay, very very good question. Right. प्रसाद तो वहीं पे रहता है, वो तो जाता नहीं है. Right. जैसे भगवान को प्रसाद ऑफर करते हैं, भोग लगाते हैं, तो वो भी प्रसाद वहीं पे रहता है. How can we say that भगवान ने उसको लिया? Right. So प्रसाद लेने का एक वही तरीका नहीं है जो हम मतलब there's not just one way how prasadam is taken. Right. We take in the gross way. Right. Taking it and eating it. And that's how we get the energy and all those things. But there are many ways the prasadam is taken or the thing is eaten. Right. Even ghosts eat, by the way. But we have not seen, you put something in front of ghost, you will not see anything is eaten. It's all the same. Like you put prasadam in front of God, you offer bhoga. It is as same. You check the weight before and after, it will be exactly same. Because भगवान जो उसमें लेते हैं मतलब दो चीजें आचार्य हमारे बताते हैं. One is the God takes the emotions, the bhav from that, not really the what we see, not really the material thing out of it, but the emotion of it, right? The emotion out of it. One thing is that, and that is called sthul, like sukshma. Sthul is the gross one, right? Sukshma is something which is like think of it if God is taking one atom or one curd, you will not even realize it, right? So same way, this Sukshman is transferred to all our ancestors. And it's not just three generations, frankly. It has been told that it is three generations, but it goes beyond. Right? It's more than three generations where this Pindadan, when we do the Pindadan, it goes even beyond that. Right? And that's why Pindadan is very important, very, very important samskar in our Sanatana Dharma. In our now, one question comes. Any other question? I'll come to that. उससे पहले any other question before that? I'll come to that. Right. Any question? हाँ भाई. हाँ. मैं आपको मेथड नहीं बताऊंगा. This is part of the card. You will get to know. There are specific people who actually get it done. Right. हाँ. They do. Because they get the Vishnu Prasad. And Vishnu Prasad, what does it do? It um, it releases the soul from the sense, right? So that's what we are discussing, the importance of prasadam, right? They also get this. This is a Vishnu Prasad what they get, and that's what releases them from this sense. And what the sense, and why Prabhupada said that here, it should be periodical activity. एक बार प्रसादम खा के we don't get liberated, right? It has to be done periodically, right? Not every day, but at least every year. So we have this Shraddh month, the Pitru Paksh, every year for 15 days, right? One Paksh comes. That is specifically for that purpose. But it's not like the Pind-Daan has to be done in that Paksh only. It can be done any point of time. The Pitru Paksh has more importance, but it can be done any point. And a lot of people, we do the Shraddh for our ancestor, for mother, father, dada, dadi ke liye. We do at the time of their death anniversary or their generally death anniversary. Hmm. It depends on your convenience, right? But again, like I said, it need not to be always done in the gap, right? I'll give you one analogy for that. A Muslim does not every year has to go to Hajj, but once in a lifetime he has to go to Hajj, right? So think of something like that, right? At least once you have to do it at there, right? But every year you can do it at home, right? But it has to be done periodically. How much? Did I answer your question? We'll come to that. We'll come to that. But that is what the whole sequence right here, right? The children are born without consciousness, without samskar. They don't know the value. They are not even have belief on this thing. They don't have belief that this thing actually works. Who is going to do the Pindadaan? Will know Pindadaan where you will be, where we all will be. That's the society. This is what we are talking about, the hellish society, which we are becoming more and more. Right. That's where we are tending towards. Where our generation itself does not really forget about children. Right. So, theory wise, it's okay. Putra will come and do the Pindadaan and all those things. But जब पुत्र करेगा ही नहीं तो फिर क्या? Who will do? What's the guarantee? आप तो गए तो कौन करने वाला है? No one knows. There is no one to pass the knowledge. Right. And most of us are in that state, frankly. Right. Let's be honest, most of us are in that state. We don't know about this thing, and hardly we do that. We are already heading towards it. So maybe this will help us come out of that bad habit. No problem.
करते हैं तो 3 generations के लिए affect करते हैं. And then eventually when the rotation happens, like the सबसे बुजुर्ग है उनका नाम हटा दिया जाता है, like the next.
प्रभु जी वही मैंने आपको कहा. It is said that it is for 3 generations, but it's not that. It's not really 3 generations, right? But generally, what we do Pindadaan, generally, one type of Pindadaan is done for all ancestors, generalized Pindadaan, right? For all ancestors. When you say all ancestors, it does not mean only 3 generations. It may go beyond also. At least 3, exactly. Right. That is not just 3 generations. So your name will not be removed. Right. Don't worry. You are already in the list. So you don't have to worry about that. But there is some specific Pindadaan also. Like when we do for mother, father, or dada, dadi, right? That is specific, we are doing it for them. Then that prasadam goes directly to them, not for all of them. So there are specialized Pindadaan, there is a generalized Pindadaan. And there are 2 types of Pindadaan also. Right. But don't ask me how we do it. That I cannot answer. Right. Okay. Because these things are, there are specific people who, the pujari, specific pujari who knows them, that's how it has to be done. And all those things. Right. Any other question? Now, our society, right? We see a lot of things, female feticide and all those things, right? What is the reason? Last time we discussed one reason, right? Couple of reasons why our society, especially Indian society, is so much for हमें तो एक पुत्र चाहिए, right? What is the reason? Huh? मतलब that is one reason, yes. Well, there are other material reason also. This is actually the real reason why all the kings wanted to have a son. Right. Now we'll discuss why putra. Right. What is putra means. Right. But now the reason is dowry and all those things. बेटी चार बेटियां होंगी तो कौन कैसे हम उनकी शादी कराएंगे. These all are nowadays recent reasons. But the real reason was this. A putra is the one who actually does the pindana. Now why putra? Why not putri? Right. The question comes. Because nowadays actually putri do. And in case that can, if you don't have any male, and you don't, the male are not there, then it is generally being done by the women of the family. Right. So now why putra? So it's called like putrate kriyate bharya. Right. Like people get married bharya. Putrate kriyate. मतलब पुत्र करते हैं and bharya. We get married to get the putra. That is coming from Sasa. That's why all the kings, and not only kings, all the family they used to have at least one son they need to have. Now why Pindadan by son? Right. Putra Pindam Prayojanam. Right. Same thing. It has similar meaning. Right. Searching for a putra. Who can do the Pindadan? That becomes an insurance policy. कि लाइफ के साथ भी लाइफ के बाद भी. Right. LIC policy. But the only problem is if the putra does not believe in Pindadan, your insurance is negative. This is gone. The insurance companies always find a way to not pay you anything. Right. So this is what we are making sure, not propagating, not passing on the real knowledge to the next generation. We are making sure that we'll not get paid. We are the insurance companies now. Right. Giving them excuses, giving us excuses. So पुत्र का मतलब होता है पुम नाम नरकात त्रायते इति पुत्र. पू नाम का एक नरक होता है. We talked about 28 hells, right? उसमें से एक hell, there is one hell, it's called Poo. Right. Looks very funny, no? Like we have in Marvel and all universe, something. So there is a hell called Poo, right? And Putra is the one who actually liberates from that hell. Right. So that's why it's called Put नाम नरकात त्रायते वा. Tra means मतलब उससे जो तारते, ठीक, तारने वाला, who deliver from that. Exactly, the English word I was thinking. Right, who delivers from who. That's why people are so much about, and that's why putra is given that lot of importance on that. It does not have any gender imbalance and all other thing. It has only shastric value, right? Because we discussed last time, the women have even way bigger role in the family, in the society than what a man can do, right? We started with that. So they deliver the forefather from the hellish condition of life. That's why the Pind-Daan is done by the son. Right. Any question? हाँ. तो माता जी जिसके पुत्र नहीं है, हाँ मतलब एक अभी पुत्र भी करती है, ठीक है. That's also in extreme cases that is allowed. Yes, that's why I said in extreme cases it is allowed, right? But पुत्र नहीं है तो ऐसा नहीं कि your generation becomes, not generation. You are the soul, right? You have been through so many bodies. If not in this life, some other life you will have your descendant. Someone can do. हाँ. No. You. अगर पुत्र भी नहीं है, then what? So that's what I said. In extreme cases, putri are also allowed to do that. And if you go to Gaya and all, they do actually. Right, nowadays they do. पुत्र नहीं है तो पुत्री भी allowed to do that. Right. But अगर पुत्री भी नहीं है तो क्या? Don't worry. You are not in this world. You are not just this 70 years of life. You are here for millions of years. If not here in another life, you will have putra putri in your descendants somewhere. Right. How about that? Mataji, again, you came late. So Pind-Daan is not the only process to give you liberation. It is one of them, and it is mainly for those ancestors who are stuck in this material world, also who are into hells. Right. It is mainly for them. Okay. Who are suffering in hellish condition, who are like ghosts. who don't have the gross body, mainly if they are stuck in the subtle body, they have a lot of desire, but it is not getting fulfilled. Right. It is majorly for them. It's not like we will not get it. Actually, we also get that. A lot of good thing which happens in our life, one is because of our karma. It also happens. It is also possibility that because our descendants are doing some Pind-Daan for us, so we are getting good karma. Right. But who knows? Right. Which karma is for which reason. So if we'll think about that, friend, we'll stuck into that Mayajal, you will never get out of it. So it's simple thing. Don't. Bhagavan Sri Krishna will also say in chapter 2, don't try to understand this karma jal, right? How karma works and this and all, because it's impossible for you to understand. The simple thing is surrender to me and get out. Right. So any other question?
The in our family in the box who has the boys and then they can also speak to them behalf of them and they will do this.
I did not get a question, Mataji.
So there are two brothers. One has the boy child, other has the girl child. So the one who has the boy child, he can also liberate the his.
Correct. So when we say family, it doesn't mean our nuclear family in 2 BHK wali. Think like last to last year we had Pind-Daan in our family. So my Baba, मतलब मेरे बाबा के भाई, my grandfather, he passed away when my father was a kid, right that time. So I've never seen him. So my brother of my grandfather, he he had the Pind-Daan. He and his wife, they went to Gaya. So there was a Bhagavatam class, right? Bhagavatam 7 days session, and then they started after Bhagavatam. They went to Gaya and did. But they did not take only उनके मम्मी के लिए. For whole ancestors, all the family. So you are saying there is a brother, right? And there is a मतलब two brothers are there. One has a boy, one has a girl. So when boy does, he does for all the family together. Your whole extended family. It is not the nuclear family. It is for the whole family all together. Right. So yes, that's why like even if in our generation like we don't have a boy, right? If our brother have other boys are there, they can also. Right. So that's fine.
परिवार में 3
Okay.
और एग्जाम कर रहे हैं तो ठीक है
हाँ.
उसको पूरा माना जाएगा तीसरे को भी
नहीं so Pind-Daan is generated by the eldest one. Eldest सबसे बड़ा जो होता है. Right. So मेरे बाबा के 5 भाई थे. ठीक है, including him. So who went to there? The one after him. Right. So it is the norm is it is always the eldest one which goes. Right. When he is not there, then the middle one will go. Right. But it is the duty of the eldest one to. That's why you missed him. That's why Bhagwan Ram did. Right. So we discussed why Gaya is the most important place to do the Pind-Daan because Bhagwan Ram did the Pind-Daan for the Dasharatha Maharaj Gaya, Shraddh. Right. Yudhishthir Maharaj, after the Mahabharat war, he did the Pind-Daan on recommendation of Krishna. He also went to Gaya to do that. So the eldest one is the one who is recommended to. Right. Any other Pind-Daan question? Which other you know? They can go. They can go. It's not like they cannot go, but ज्यादा कौन है literally. Let's be practical. ठीक. वो ये कहेंगे अरे तुम बड़े भाई हो. This is your naam. You should go. मैं हमारा काम हो गया. We'll go home. Right. But they can go. But the rituals which will be done at that time, they all can go Gaya, right? It's a pilgrimage. All can go. They can go to Vishnupat temple. They can do the charan spars of Vishnu Bhagwan, right? They can see the भगवान का बुद्ध अवतार गया is very important place for Buddha avatar also. He got the knowledge there, right? They can go visit that place. So it's a pilgrimage they can go with. But the activity, the actual ritual which will be done, that will be done by the next one. If he is alive, it will be done by the next one. If not, then the next one. Nowadays anything can happen, right? So that's okay. It's like, why should I not? Why am I not allowed? So these are all we discussed last time about Jati Dharma, Kul Dharma, mental concoction. We speculate things and made one pratha. So this is something like that. It is not really that all have to sit together अगर 10 भाई हैं तो 10 बैठ के करेंगे. If Gaurav had to do Pind-Daan, then what? Oh my God. That will be wholesome for Pind-Daan. It's not really like that. Right? But yeah. So now Arjun, here Arjun is like painting now coming next. Arjun is painting very grim picture here, right? Starting from the fourth region starting, right? Eldest, the elders of the family, they are no more, right? There is no one to pass the knowledge to children, right? Children are creating nuisance. There is no one to discipline them. The women are, because there are no elders, there are no male in the family, the women are also free to mix up because there is no discipline also. And also unscrupulous and immoral men, they are advancing towards the women of the household. Right. So he's painting all this grim picture. Now, because of this, the unwanted population is coming to the society. The unwanted population which came because of no sanskars, no values, because they have been born without any sanskars. Right. So no values. Now this unwanted population are creating the hellish condition in the society. And because they don't have knowledge, they don't do Pindadan. Right. And they don't do Pindadan. So ancestors who are in the hell, they continue to live in hell. Right. Now the question comes. So Arjun's fear, not the question, but the Arjun fear which is coming true today. Today we are seeing all these conditions which is happening. We can actually relate to. Maybe that time people may not be able to relate to that. But nowadays we can actually relate to all these things which is happening. Right? Because nowadays no one believes in these things. Right? So today's philosophy has become like this. Eat, sleep and make merry. How many of you know Charvak Muni? Have you heard the name? Charvak Muni. Charvak. There is a Muni Charvak. He gave the philosophy. This is the philosophy. Yavat jivet sukham jivet. Ridam kritva dhritam pivet. Bhasmi bhutasya dehasya punaraganam kritam. It means that as long as you live happily. What we do? You can actually relate to it. Take, you beg, borrow or steal. Take that. Right. But eat only, drink only ghee. Why ghee? That's a royal. Right. चाहे आपको लूटना पड़े, चाहे आपको भीख मांगना पड़े, but drink only ghee. Right? Because once the body is reduced to ashes, who knows it is coming back or not? That's the Charvak philosophy. And 90% of the, or maybe more, of the world pop actually follows this philosophy. Think, a lot of time people ask me, many times people ask me, अरे who knows कि क्या होगा इस लाइफ के बाद ये किसने देखा है कि तुम आओगे नहीं आओगे एंजॉय लाइफ क्या कर रहे हो तुम ये दिस एंड दैट लोगों को बैठ के भगवत चैंटिंग कर रहे हो भगवत गीता पढ़ रहे हो ये क्या होगा इससे कुछ नहीं होगा तुमको क्या पता क्या होगा live life king size I have heard so many times from my friends from my close friends itself previously I used to argue nowadays I am एकदम सही कह रहा हूँ Hare Krishna बोल के निकल लो that's the best way because you argue it's a waste of time for you for them in the end it has zero results right so better Hare Krishna बोल के निकल लेंगे but that is the philosophy which has been today's philosophy but then what should a devotee do in that case the question comes here that we saw all these Pind-Daan, Shraddha ceremony. What is allowed for a devotee? Right. So what Srila Prabhupada said, we'll read that. One who engages in the devotional life is not required to perform such active actions. Right. Because this is a part of karma kard. Right. Bhakti, you actually don't need to get into karma kard. Right. But we'll come to that. First we have to understand, are we really bhakti? Right. Are we at that level? Bhakti is not that simple. Right. So, after that, simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers, not just 3 generations. Right here, it's a proof. Hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kind of misery. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.41. I'll just read the meaning. Anyone who has taken shelter to the lotus feet of Mukunda, Mukunda is happy. His name is Mukunda. Right. So here we are talking about Lord Mukunda. Right. So any man who has taken the center of lotus feet of Lord Mukunda, right? The giver of liberation, by giving up all kinds of obligations, right? He has taken the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind, and forefather. The first line you are seeing, we'll discuss that in next slide. Right. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, what obligations are we talking about here? Do we know the obligations? The debt. Anyone knows? So there are 6 types of debt we are born with. Whenever we are born, we are actually born with 6 types of debt, which we have to repay. We have to settle the account. What are these debts? The line says that. Devarsi bhutapta trinam pitrunam. Dev, for the devtas, because they give us rain, water, sunlight, all those things, right? Food, right? All those things they give, right? So for them, rishis, because they have given us knowledge, so we are indebted to them. Bhut, bhut does not mean ghost here. Okay, bhut means all living beings, right? So don't get scared. It means all living beings. So we are actually indebted to all living beings. Now, how we are indebted to all living beings? Some examples. Huh? Environment पे on the trees, we are dependent on the fruits. What else? Soldiers, that renown will come for all humankind and social. But other, apart from human, what others? How about that? Cow, all cow, our mother, right? We are dependent on घी, जो घी 4 बार पी रहे थे, ठीक है? अगर cow ना हो तो शायद वो भी ना है. Our own parent, that will come. Apart from human, you talk about any human. Jeev, all living beings. Microbes, otherwise how will we eat dosa or idli, right? Or dhokla also, if someone is Gujarati here. So microbes also. So a lot of all these animal beings, right? Everything. We are indebted to them, right? Then up is our relatives and friends and relatives, right? We are dependent on because they come to help us whenever we need, right? Our all relatives, बचपन से हमें गोद में खिलाते आ रहे हैं, they give us gifts and all. So we are indebted to them also. Drinam, that means in a humankind in general, right? Like you were saying for the soldiers, for the farmers, right? All those humankind, for the administrators, politicians also, right? If they don't run, then how will survive? Right? Then there will be complete chaos. So even though we can curse politicians all we want, but they are keeping the social order. Think of a country where the social order is gone. What happens in that country? There will be only chaos if there is no one to control. So, Trinam means humankind in general. And then Pitrunam, our forefathers and ancestors. So we are born with these 6 types of debt which we have to repay. We have to settle the account. Right. Now, how we do that? For Deva, we perform yajnas. Right. That's how we repay the debt to them. Rishis, by performing celibacy or studying the Shastra because they have given the knowledge and by propagating the knowledge also. That's how we have to repay. Good, by taking care of them, by feeding them, the dog, cats, cows, microbes, giving them some prasad. Yes, you can give them some prasad. Right. So, anyone knows, like in outside when our home, nowadays we get this very different sand type of rangoli, but previous year, like in older times, it was not really the sand ones. It was made of what? Floor, wheat floor, rice floor, something like that, right? And why it is that? हाँ. तो चींटियों को भी हम खाने खिलाते थे. That was our culture. It is lost completely. अब बाहर एक स्टिकर लगा देते हैं. मेरा तो वो भी फट गया. Now it is lost completely. But even we used to pay debt to them. That was our culture. एक चींटी जा रही, we will not step out there. Right. Now we have become like men in black. याद है किसी को first movie? कॉकरोच के ऊपर चढ़ता है. We now become like that. When we see cockroach, अरे we have become like that. So think how many sins we are going to actually incur by killing an animal. Right? We have lost all the good values we had in the Vedic culture. Anyway, going further, for relatives, I'll complete this very last. For relatives and humankind in general, for serving them, like doing the serving our relatives or serving the society in general, Samaj Seva, right? And for Pitrura, Shraddha ceremony. This is how we repay the debt. Any Mama, there's a question.
Can you please explain this? So here it is saying why pizza is not needed for deals.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Right. Right. That's the next question. But these are the ones. So for non-devotees, right? For non-devotees, these all activities has to be done so that these debts are repaid. Because if we don't repay the debt, what will happen? We'll again take one because we have to repay. It's like a bank loan or electricity bill. After खूब electricity use की, you cannot run away. Law will catch you. Or you have taken a loan, go out. मतलब not everyone is क्या क्या नाम है उसका? नीरव मोदी और our Lalit नहीं our Vijay Mallya, our superstar. I forgot. Like not everyone is that. Even he paid more than he took loan of 9,000 crore. He paid 14,000 crore. More with interest, right? So anyway, right? Not everyone is as lucky as that, right? So we have to repay the loan because if not, law will follow. So like in the general world, law will follow. In the material world also, law will. Spiritual world also, law will follow. So this karma law that will follow us. Right? We have to repay. We'll have to come back. Now, your question. Think. How ancestors of pure devotees are liberated? Like why it is said that for devotees, it's not really required. So before we go into that, first understand that are we devotees? Right? What is the definition? If I ask you what is the definition of devotee, what would you say? Who should be called a devotee? हम बोलते तो हम राम भक्त हैं, हम कृष्ण भक्त हैं, हम ये हैं, but are we really? Then who are the devotees? When can we call ourselves a devotee? इसमें ये अपने आप क्यों जा रहा है? And those are process of bhakti. That's okay. You don't have to go there. When would we call as a devotee? It's a general question. It does not have relation to that. There are a lot of jnani who follow scripture. They know all the end-to-end scripture. आप बोलो आपको 700 श्लोका एक घंटे में ऐसे सुना दे. They're not devotees. And then after doing that, they will go and they will. बगल में बार से याद है मतलब. My mind was actually, I was mind blown by seeing that. मत तो क्या उसको जाके पहले पीटो लेकिन मैं अकेले था. So I was going there. There is a corner just before you go to Nalaganda overbridge. You have seen there is a new. They have put a new this not poster standing. On the top there is a Krishna with cow, and down there is written bar. I'm like, how dare them do the same thing with any other religion? It's a guaranteed the bar is going to close. This is there from so many weeks, or I don't know how many. I saw yesterday. It is still there. Bar, Prabhuji, bar and जो भी एक ऊपर कृष्णा की फोटो है. Already name तो हर जगह यूज होता ही है. बालाजी बार, कृष्णा बार, this and that. अब फोटो भी डाल के यूज कर रहे हैं. What kind of generation are we going to make? Children, what they will see? They will see that अरे बार है कृष्णा, oh this is allowed. It is what their mindset would be, right? Because this is our generation is saying. So maybe after class we'll go 2-3 of क्या बोलते हैं? ठीक है, चलिए हो गए, डन डील. ठीक, दंड वंड लेके चलेंगे. ठीक है, कुछ आपके पास है ना बेसबॉल बैट लेके चलेंगे. ठीक है, तो how ancestors of pure devotees are liberated, right? So this story comes, right, for Prahlad Maharaj. So when Narasimha killed Hiranyakashipu, when he killed him, so he was very angry, and he was so angry that his eyes were in red color. When we see his photo red eyes, it was because of that. So our Acharya said actually one eye is red, another eye is actually bluish, some complexion, right? But at that time when he was killing, his eyes were red completely. One eye is red because one half of his like in anger completely. Another half of his body was like in the love of Prahlad Maharaj, right? So when no one is able to pacify, you see here all the Devi Devatas are there. None of them were able to pacify Narasimhadev. Then they came to, they asked Prahlad Maharaj, only now you can do this. So Prahlad Maharaj goes and then he calms down. He did his prayers, he paid his obeisances, and then Narasimhadev calmed down. Right. And he asked, okay, well, I'm very happy with you. Ask any benediction you want. So he said, Prabhu, I don't want any benediction. Like it was never it was never my goal or purpose to get any benefit from you, right? You have given me darshan, that is more than enough. You have accepted me as your devotee, that is more than enough. I don't want anything. But he insisted, no, you ask for something. So that time Prahlad Maharaj said that, okay, even though my father was a very sinful person, he did a lot of bad things, right? But I still want for you to liberate him, right? Take him to your abode. So Narasimhadev says that you don't worry about that. When you are a pure devotee, when you surrender to me, your 21 generations, right? 21 generations gets liberated before and after. Not just you, right? So 20, and that is a promise given by God Himself. Narasimhadev says that. And similar kind of stories comes in a lot of other Puran also. Right. So this story says that how a pure devotee, but then pure devotee, right? Not राम भक्त. तो सड़क पे जब राम जी की शोभा यात्रा निकलेगी हम राम भक्त हैं, उसके अलावा हम वही बार में बैठे हुए जिसको आज हम जाएंगे. ठीक है, we'll make it clear कि हटा दो नहीं तो अगली बार हम सोलो के साथ आने वाले हैं. And we are going to file a FIR also. Right. Anyway, coming back to topic. So it's a God's promise. We said a God promise. It's a God's promise that He will liberate the whole 21 generations of ancestors. Right. And not only for this life, but also for previous life also. So many, like Srila Prabhupada said, thousands, hundreds and thousands of forefathers will be liberated. So pure devotee has this privilege, has this strength and potent that he can liberate the whole thousands of generations, ancestors together. Right. But how many of pure devotee do we know? Right. None of us are devotees. Let's make it very clear. Right. At least I am not. Right. Not there yet. But probably none of us are. Right. So getting a pure devotee itself is extremely rare phenomenon. Right. Finding them. Right. Very, very rare. So don't bank on this insurance policy. Becoming pure devotee. With that, I remember one funny incident. So there was one, not Maharaj, but sannyasi was there. It is called Brahmachari. Right. I think it's a story of Radhesham Prabhu, right, or someone. So when he was taking the Brahmachari, right, so his family was, how can you quote this and that? So his counselor or his senior, he told the brother was saying, why are you doing this? You get married, have children, you enjoy. You can do all the bhakti in this life. So there was a senior with him, and he told that, do you know, a pure devotee can liberate 21 generations. You must go. The next sentence from the brother, you must go. You liberate us. Do it with full enthusiasm and liberate us also. The mind changes. So that very story. I just remembered it. So pure devotee can actually do that. And that's how these ancestors are liberated. And this is why Srila Prabhupada said that it is not actually necessary for a devotee to do. Now, why devotee? Because they have surrendered to Lord. Right? They have already surrendered to Lord completely for everything. When do we call anyone a devotee? That was the question. It is not when we say Ram Bhakta in Ishwar. Right? It is when for every activity we do in life is connected to God. When we completely surrender to God for anything which is going to happen with it, then only we can be called as a devotee. We are not even nearby. Right? We are not there. So we are not the devotee. So for us, which fall in the category of non-devotees, it is a mandatory, not just a recommended. It's a mandatory to do the Pind-Daan. But when any of us can reach at that level, right? That time it is not really mandatory. Such obligation, these all debts which we have to pay, this need not to be done. Why? Because think of a case, it is something like Reserve Bank of India or government after every election they said, हम किसानों का कर्ज माफ करेंगे. Then the government comes and then they waive off all the loans. So this is the government, the Krishna is the government, right? The top head of the government. He can say that you are under my protection, all the loans are waived off for you. Enjoy. Right? So we don't have to pay. Like we saw the examples in the DIS we saw. When you actually water the root of the plant, it goes everywhere. All the parts of the plant would be happy. When we eat the food, it goes to stomach only. It does not go to my finger, my brain, my eye, my nose. Right? We don't feed all the organs separately. It goes everywhere. Right? From the stomach itself. So, because the source, when the source is happy, everything will automatically be happy. So when Krishna is happy, all these Devi, Devatas, Jeev, whatever you see, right? Manushya, everyone will be automatically be happy. If Prime Minister is happy, all the minister will be happy. Who are not, they'll be thrown out, right? They'll be fallen to the out of the cabinet, right? So if you make the Prime Minister or your CEO happy, we discussed that example also. If your CEO is happy with you, forget about the managers, what he can do. Right? He cannot cause you a single harm. Balki he will be actually afraid if you do anything bad to you, what will happen to his job? Right? Make the CEO happy. Everyone will be automatically be happy. Very simple. Right? So that's how. So that's a wonderful path of bhakti. Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Path Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Jasyam, Sankyam Atmanivedanam. These are the 9 processes of bhakti. Right? We discussed what is the devotee, what is devotion, and how it is followed. So all these. This is not in a sequence. It's not a sequence. Like each is a separate process. Right? You can do one, whole, all. Right? But these are the 9 processes of bhakti. Sravanam, listening. Kirtanam, singing, praising the Lord, glorifying the Lord. Giving the lecture is also a kirtanam, right? Smaranam, thinking about the God. Path sevanam, like Lakshmi Devi do, serving the holy feet of the Lord. We can't do that. Actually, we can do that for the deities. And when we do the puja, that is path sevanam. Archanam, and similar thing for Archanam also. Combined. Take Vandanam, saluting the Lord with utmost love, like a crew. Right. Dasyam, like Hanumanji did bhakti for Lord Ram. And he was a das. Like his only thing he used to think was the welfare of the Bhagwan Ram. When he came to know एक संदूर लगाने से क्या कहते हैं भगवान की आयु बढ़ जाएगी. Like God will have many life, like he will have more life. He put put the sindoor in his whole body. That is das. He was always ready to do things as a servant of the Lord. And then Sankyam, like Arjuna. And Arpanivedana, the last thing, which is like, I've completely surrendered to you. Right? I don't have anything, like Bali Maharaj did. When Vaman Dev did not have a third stepson. Right? So that's the perfect way of making our life happy and in bhakti. Right? So that we can achieve the supreme destination and come out of the cycle of birth and death. Now, coming to next, what happens next? Right? Arjun is going to make his case more stronger. Right? So we'll repeat. It will take 15 more minutes. It's okay? Or shall we flow? दोषैरते कुलग्नानां वर्ण संकर कारकै उद्यास्यन्ते जाति धर्मा कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वता दोषैरते कुलग्नानां वर्ण संकर कारकै उत्सादयन्ते जाति धर्मा कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वता. Any laptop proposition? Good. Very good.
Ulsa, think Purana.
Dosha Kulakna, Word Sankarta, Utsahyante Jantidharma, Kuladharmashchasas. Anything from others. Dosha Kulakna, Word Sankarta, Utsahyante Jantidharma, Kuladharmashchasas. Translation by Chigadan, Srila by the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children. All kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Right. Extending the same logic, we discuss about what is Jati Dharma Kul Dharma. What is Jati Dharma Kul Dharma? What is that? The tradition which we follow at the home. कि घर में चप्पल पहन के ही नहीं घुसना. Is that the one? अरे अभी our first is the previous one started with that only. What is our Kul Dharma? Following on which dharma? आप बोल रहे थे वर्णाश्रम dharma. That is our Jati Dharma. We have to follow the rules and regulations as per our word and ashram which is prescribed in the scriptures. That is the only Jati Dharma and Kul Dharma. There is no other. Dancing in front of the rally after drinking alcohol, even though it may be happening after like from last 100 years, that is not Jati Dharma because it is not prescribed in any of the scripture. Right. Doing some mental concoction हमारे घर में तो ऐसा ही होता है. Like we discussed one thing कि तीन भाई हैं तो तीनों साथ all three brothers will sit together and do this Shraddh ceremony together because why am I any less? That's not a Kul Dharma. That's not Jati Dharma. Whatever is prescribed in the scripture, that is only Jati Dharma and Kul Dharma. Right. But we are losing all those things. We have made our own laws, our own rules and regulations, we are following that. Oh, because our father used to do that. Our grandfather used to do that. There is no scriptural basis of that. Like we discussed one example of nearby Belgavi area. There is one, I will not call festival, one occasion. In thousands of numbers, the goats are killed for sacrifice. No scripture says that. Right. A lot of places we go where you have to put bali to do that. Right. For that purpose. No scripture says that actually. It is said, but again, very specific things, right? Not really as that. Right. When we do the bali, when we do the meat eating mams, mams का मतलब ये होता है mamsa. What I am doing with you, I am promising you, I am giving you a promise that you are allowed to do with me next life. Anytime we eat meat, we actually made a promise to that animal. Right. So I don't know how many lifetimes we have given as a promise. So those mental concoctions, those speculative prathas, they are not really like Sati Pratha was one of that, right? It was not really the way it was there. Thank God it is abolished now, but it was never key. If husband dies, the wife has to be thrown in the fire to die. Right? None of our scripture actually says that. But it has become rampant at that time. That was, and it was followed in the name of Pratha. Right? That became Jati Dharma Kula Dharma, but it was not. Like Jawhar also is one of that. It was done for one specific purpose. But then if the family start doing that continuously, then it will become a what we call it a bad rituals, bad uh, kupratha. Right? It becomes kupratha at that time. Right. So Srila Prabhupada says that community projects, that is Jati Dharma, for the four orders of human society combined with family welfare activities are set forth by the institution of Sanatana Dharma or Varnasam Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is nothing but the Varnasam Dharma. Right. Are designed to enable the human being to attain the ultimate salvation. Therefore, the breaking of Sanatana Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of the society bring about chaos in that society. And consequently, people forget the aim of life, which is Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and the person who follows such leader are sure to lead into chaos. Chaos, right? So when people start following their mentally speculative pratha, it will only lead to chaos, which actually happens. We can see that in real life also, right? Go to Pune, Mumbai after every Visarjan, like at the time of every Visarjan. That is a huge chaos. How can you call a banta when you are drinking and dancing on a vulgar songs in front of Lord Ganesha? How can it be banta? Well, how can it be religiously? Um, how can it be religiously what we call approved process? Right? It cannot be. But that's what happens, and in a huge amount. And it's like it's a norm there. Without that, जब तक कि एक डीजे ना हो जिससे बगल की सोसाइटी में भूकंप आ जाए, तब तक तो हमारा रैली ही नहीं निकलेगा, मतलब that विसर्जन पूरा नहीं होगा, right? But yeah, that's where we are. So, but why this Varnasam Dharma was designed? It was designed so that when we are in Varnasam Dharma, we can actually slowly, gradually advance in spirituality. Right? Varnasam Dharma is not the end. It is a process to advance into spirituality. Right? When we follow the scriptures, when we follow our word and ashram as it is prescribed, we are we are going to advance spiritually. Right? But when we don't, there is society, the chaos in the society. Right? Because there are no rules and regulations, there is uh, no one to control, no one to discipline the people. Right? So, uh, so our Acharya says that the people should not have any whimsical attitude, like whimsical attitude for following this. Um, okay. Coming to the point. For non-devotee, we saw that Shraddh and all has to be done, Varnasam Dharma has to be done. But even for devotee, that may not be required. But it doesn't mean we don't have to do, because we are not there yet, first of all. And second thing, in our Shastra, there are three things. Because these things, Varnasam Dharma also follows all these karma card, right? Which of a devotee does not actually need to, because he has already surrendered to God. He does not have to fulfill all the obligations, right? Um, but a non-devotee has to do. And also for the devotee or Shastra prescribed, there are three things which he has to do, whether he is a devotee, non-devotee, at any point of time. Dan, Yajna, and Tam. These three things, Dan, charity, Yajna, for the pleasure of the Lord, all the Yajna, right? And Tam, renunciation, right? These three things has to be followed by whether you are a devotee or not devotee. So in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, it is prescribed. We see in later chapter that Dam, Yajna, and Tam. These things has to be followed for the devotee also, right? So, so Arjuna here is he's saying that कि दोषा रहते कुलग्नाना वर्ण संकर कारके उद्यास्यन्ते jati dharma kula dharmaश्च शाश्वता. That these all varnasam dharma is now destroyed. That means when varnasam dharma is destroyed, so this knowledge will also be not propagated, it will not be passed on from other generation, and all these family welfare activities. When we say, when Srila Prabhupada says here family welfare activities, community project, it means activities like this: preaching, making temples, right? Having Shobha Yatra, all those things. These all activities, Sankirtan, Nagar Sankirtan, chanting together, pilgrimage. These all activities will be finished, right? So he's making his case even more stronger here, saying that. And we'll finish with this one. Okay. Uh, 2, 3, 4. Huh? No, next time we'll take 3. So we'll do with this, or we'll take next time. We can finish in 5 minutes. उत्सन्न कुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवति अनुसृसौ अनुसुस्रौ Bhavatitya anususru उत्सन्न कुल धर्माणाम मनुष्याणाम जनार्दन नरके नियतम वासो भवतीत्य अनुसुश्रुम. Translation by C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Right. So, connecting to the previous one, no Pindadaan, no Shraddha ceremony, the body is still in the subtle body, they are already in hell or in the ghost form. Right. And if no one is doing the Pindadaan, what will happen? They'll continue to be there. They cannot come out of that. So, Arjuna is saying that, connecting from the top, no sanskar is passed, elders are gone, elders are died, there is no one to control, there is no one to protect women, right? And the women are now unchaste. Unchaste women are now cause of the unwanted population. Unwanted population and no knowledge or no values are passed to generation is causing hell in the society. Now hell in the society means those jati dharma, kul dharma, all those sanskar, all those uh, like Shraddh and all, these all are getting finished. And when all are finished, right, our ancestors will continue to rot in hell. Like they will be stuck in hell for long, long time. Because no one is to there, no one is there to take them out from the hell. We are not doing the process. Now, this is Utsanikul Dharmada, that Varnasam system will be destroyed. Kul Dharma, Varnasam system. And Manushyaram is very significant here, that word. It means that what it says that the society, the human society which follow the Varnasam Dharma is actually called, is actually called as a human society, right? Or not all, yes. That is the society which we can call as human society, Manushyana. But if a society who does not follow these all dharma, these all rules and regulations, they are not even prescribed to be called as human society. They are more of an animal society. Like we discussed, Ahar, Nidra, Bhai, Maitru, Chal. Those are all activities they will do, nothing else. Right. So Manushyana here he emphasizes that the human society, not the animal society, that will also be finished because there is no one to follow the Varnasam Dharma. Then it ceases to exist, like in today's situation. Right? We saw this. What is happening in today? Where is that? Right? The hellish society. This is where we are. The crime is rampant, corruption, all kind of things are happening. That's how we are heading toward. That's where we are heading toward. Right. So that's what Arjun is saying, which is more relevant today, more and more relevant these days. Right. Okay, so today's situation is like that, that we have become a ruthless kind of people. We are devoid of all the our rituals and values, and we're doing like the Charvak Muni said, beg, borrow, or steal, but eat only, drink only eat. So that's exactly what happens nowadays, right? If you think about it, if we have to buy a car, we'll go to bank and take a loan and then buy a car. We have all of us have taken, I guess, right? All of us have taken home on loan, right? That's what. And even like that is okay. It can be taken like because we are in the grace ashram, we have to take this thing. That is fine. But even for the show off, okay, my manager is like all the managers are coming in the SUV plus cars. How can I come in I-20? Even though only two people are there in the family, I have to buy a Range Rover, right? So I will go to bank and buy just to maintain the social status. I need to have iPhone for sale. People give excuse, not sorry, no offense here, who are having iPhone here, right? No offense, but a lot of time I heard from my friend, salary 20,000 ki. Literally, in college when we were starting, the salary was 20, 24,000, that was it, right? But I will have iPhone. I'll take the phone on EMI. I will pay EMI for 2 years, but I will have iPhone only. Right? Why? Because I don't feel connected to Android. हमें phone करना है, message करना है, WhatsApp करना है. That's all you do. You don't get connected to anything else, right? But I need to have an iPhone only because you know UI, right? All those things. It is nothing but excuse to maintain the social status. So we are actually, most of us follow the charvak, beg, borrow, steal, but drink only give. So that kind of society we are in. We are like love, compassion, brotherhood. All these things are rare nowadays, right? Anususrama. But coming to next, so he's told one very important here, one very important point here. That shows that how scholar was Arjun, how strong was he in his shastra, right? Anususrama. That word is very important. Anususrama means I have gained the knowledge, so I have heard from from the authorities, from the higher authorities. That is from the here it's written disciplic succession. Right, all those regions, whatever he gave, he says that these are not my mental reason. I'm just thinking. I'm sitting here or khali dimag shaitan kar raha hai. I'm not just thinking. These all have been told in disciplic succession by the authorities, by the gurus. It's not I am thinking. Right. Making case is stronger. Think, think you are telling something. You are in a court, and then you are giving some evidence. Not evidence. You are putting your one point at that. Right. And everyone is hearing. But then you put some point. In court cases, generally, what happens if you see? They put the references from the previous cases. They put 5 references. Let's say they put 5 references. In this high court, this was given the decision. In the similar case, this one. That becomes a authority, right? And it is a like very strong case for them, very strong condition for the person who is putting this kind of arguments. It becomes very strong argument for them, right? Easier the decision. So Arjuna is also saying the same thing here. So I have heard from the authorities in the disciplic succession from my gurus. So that Krishna, I'm putting my cases from them. मेरे ऊपर मत सोचेगा. It's not my thinking. It is what been told to me. Now our Vedic culture, the kings are not just Kshatriya. We think that kings are just Kshatriya, लड़ाई झगड़ा करते थे, ये करते थे. No, they were also scholars. Chanakya used to say that, Chanakya everyone knows, right? Perfectly. So Chanakya used to say that the king, when he wake up in the morning, the first thing he does is like after puja part, the first thing he does is to go through all the shastras. Right? He understands, he reads all the shastra, he has a discussion with his guru about how this is happening, why this is so. Right? And then they used to follow all these administrative duties. So their life was very busy. It was not like uthe, not like Mughals. Uthe, चाय पिए और बस सभा में गए थोड़े मार काट बचाए and then come back and went to heaven. Not like that. Right? They had to follow their dharma, the Kshatriya life, world, dharma, Kshatriya world. And they spent a lot of time in Sata. So Arjun was also like that. He was a very great scholar. These all knowledge are not his mental speculation. These all coming from the disciplic successor, coming from the Guru. And that's where he's put the point. I am knowing this knowledge because my Guru said that. My Guru said that. Right. So don't think that it is my understanding. Right. And Srila Prabhupada says here, here that on what he have heard from the authority, that is the way of receiving, and that's the way of receiving the real knowledge. Right? Why authority? When we get sick, where do we go? Through a doctor, right? When we have to have a legal help, where do we go? Lawyer. Right? For all the things in our material life, we actually follow the authority. But for spiritual, we don't do. What we say? I think, yeah, in my opinion, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि शायद ऐसा होगा. So once one person came to Srila Prabhupada and said, in my opinion, Krishna was like that. Srila Prabhupada stopped him. What is the value of your opinion? What do you think is value of your opinion? Right? You think there is a value of your opinion? Who cares? And forget about yourself. even my opinion does not have any value. Srila Prabhupada says that. Not only your, even my opinion does not have any value. The only value is there. Okay, is the opinion of God. Is the opinion of the disciplic successor which is coming from God. Otherwise, everything else is a zero value. We discussed that zero and one thing, right? The binary of spirituality. Anything which is connected to God is one. Anything which is not connected to God is zero. So you can have like Kaurava, they have 11 what we call it? Ashwani Sena, right? Ashwani Sena, right? Good. Because that is more respond. Right? So they had 11, while Pandava has 7. But because they were not connected to God, so it is of zero value. Like in a bank balance, you have hundreds of zeros, and there is no one at the start or the end. It is still zero. But you have just 1 rupee in your bank balance, it is bigger than the hundreds of zeros. So that's what our Acharya says, the binary of spirituality. Anything which is connected to God is actually of value. Other things, whatever opulent you have, it is of zero value. Right. So the same thing here. So Srila Prabhupada said that your opinion does not matter. It has zero value. Even my opinion has zero value if it is not connected to God, if it is not word of God. So, and that's the way of receiving the knowledge in the disciplic successor. Because that's the authority. They have experienced it. They know. Like a lot of the Bhagavad Gita is available at every book shop, right? You can get Bhagavad Gita at 15 rupees also, you can get 15,000 also, right? But all of us have tried reading it once, twice, many times by yourself. And we all know how successful we were. Right? It has to come from the authority. Because the one who has experienced it, the one who is the following the chain, they only can tell. A devotee only can tell you how to do bhakti. How can a non-devotee who's just आते हैं प्रवचन देते हैं और उसके बाद बैठ के how can he tell you how to do bhakti? It does not even know what is bhakti. That he has never experienced it. The one who has experienced it can tell you how. जब हम Google review लिखते हैं, Google also says that you tell your experience, not on what I heard and what I did. Right? The review we consider as the authentic one is the one who is the personal experience. So a devotee only can tell you how to do bhakti. No one else can. So the person here who is receiving knowledge, it has to come from authorized successor, authorized parampara. Otherwise, it has no value. It is just anyone can put anything, right? There is one acharya in LinkedIn आजकल बहुत famous होते हैं. ठीक. मतलब प्रभु जी तो नाम नहीं लेते, मुझे नाम लेने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. But ठीक है, I can avoid. ठीक. तो this guy says that कि भगवत गीता में कहीं भी नहीं लिखा है कि there is no place in Bhagavad Gita where it is written that there is a punarjanma. There is no concept of punarjanma. I like once first time I heard, I was like, what nonsense. मतलब at least 100 times, not 100, but at least 10, 20 times it is written there about punarjanma there. Okay. The whole concept of the soul is about the punarjanma in Bhagavad Gita. And this guy says that the punarjanma, अभी तो मुझे वर्ष में नहीं याद आ रहा क्या था वो. नहीं वो कौन सा वर्ष है? पहले चैप्टर में नहीं है. ठीक है, पर बहुत फेमस वर्ष एकदम दिमाग से निकल गया. मामी मामी से कुछ पूछते हैं. नहीं वो अलग है, वो तो लास्ट है. That is something. But anyway, think that is the way of receiving knowledge. And why we go to authorities? Because we have our sense defects. We have covered this one that we are tend to commit mistakes. We are human. Human makes mistakes, right? We become illusioned. We don't know where it is start and end. It is an optical illusion. Our senses are imperfect, right? The third one, we cannot see the microbes. We cannot hear the any sound which is above 20,000 hertz, right? Our sensor, and then we have propensity to cheat others. A lot of cases. So that's why we go to authorities, because authority only can give the knowledge. So when we can do it in material life, we should actually do it in spiritual life also, not by doing ourselves. So Isopanishad says that this is with that we'll finish. Right. The wise have explained that the wise have explained the one result in derived from culture of knowledge and avidya, the vidya, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of the science. With someone who is following the real knowledge, the vidya, they get one result. Someone who is not following the real the not real knowledge or avidya, right? They get another result, right? And all this is heard from the undisturbed authorities who clearly explained it. So this verse gives the importance of authority. Ishopnisha said that one of very important Upanishad and very small, right? But very deep. So it gives the meaning of authorities, that why authorities are important. So here the word used as dhira, iti susura dhira now. What is iti susura? So I have heard. Thus I have heard dhira now. मतलब धीर लोगों से. Who are धीर? The people who are sober, who have controlled their senses, right? And who have actually experienced this highest spiritual knowledge by themselves, by experiencing it themselves. They are called Dhira. And that's what it says in this verse. That knowledge has to become from such kind of people only. Right. It has. Any question? That's it. Then next time we'll be completing chapter 1. Take it. Because I know this was horror. See, you can get scared. Yeah? Then if no question, then we'll finish. You have a question? Huh? We discuss, are the ghosts real? What is your opinion? Is it real or not? No? Still no. इतना तो बोला. Lecture repeat for you next time. Okay. You'll give the summary of are the ghosts are real or not. Okay. हाँ बात है. हाँ.
But it's very many events that you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot.
Well, that is one. There are so many like that. We have this one also. Dukhalaya Masasutam, that verse. Huh? Dukhalaya Masasutam, that verse also says that. It has the clear word Punarjan. Right. It has the clear word Punarjan. If that does not justify, then what else? And mental speculation, Mataji. Like there is one author, Mr. Patnaik. He is notorious of giving the really bad meaning to our scriptures. A lot of people started with it. But yes, I know, इसीलिए आपके लिए बोला था. But yes, he is the notorious of giving the bad meaning or the completely incorrect meaning of our scriptures. Right. If you read him, you're certainly guaranteed to become non-devotee. So we should not follow that, but we should follow the disciplic successor. Any question? With that, we'll finish. One check out the room, this check, we pass it to the child. We have best to it for the body stolen, because we know the bath, we have that, we will be very good. Hare Krishna.